Hi, in the last videos I've looked at first the perceiving functions, starting with sensing and then intuition, then moving on to the judging functions, starting with thinking last week, and now feeling in this video. I will first start with the ESFJs and ENFJs. Their strongest mental process is FE, so TI doesn't come as naturally to them. FE dominants can have a tendency to see thinking functions, especially TI, as cold and too focused on things and logic, often forgetting to focus on people too. But TI can help ESFJs and ENFJs as it can provide the practical side to their FE, grounding them and giving them logic or rationale to back up their own ideas and values with evidence that can be used to help other people get on board too. TI is also important because it acts as a filter through which an FE user sees the world, lining up experiences with the person's own truth. Without TI, an FE dominant can become so focused on other people that they can forget to look at how an experience affects them and what issues it can raise inside themselves. TI helps to remind the FE dominant that their own values and truths are just as important as others, and should not always be pushed aside to ensure that everyone else is happy. Here are a few weaknesses due to not using their TI as much. ESFJs and ENFJs are deeply in touch with the values of the people around them, but this often comes at the cost of neglecting their own needs and values. They are quick to see what other people need and to jump in to meet these needs, but they may end up becoming resentful because others are not often as perceptive and do not meet their needs as fast as they do. They may become so focused on others that they lose sight of what makes the most logical sense for their own personal lives and miss opportunities that they really wanted to take, giving them the potential to become cynical and distrusting of others. Speaking to a TP type, so an ISTP, INTP, ESTP, or ENTP, can help you to see the strengths of TI and how useful it is, as it is their first or second function. Here are a few examples on how to improve TI. Examine your behaviours, beliefs, and values. Look at the roots of those beliefs. Which truths do you follow that might have irrational logic or an unclear explanation? Is there any way you can verify the accuracy of them? A good one to start with is looking at the logic behind always putting other people's needs first, especially when it is at the detriment to your own needs. Write an article or have a conversation where you focus on using the most precise words or phrases possible. Eliminate unnecessary filler words. Try to think of a short, concise answer to a question and simply state that. Try this with someone close who knows what you are doing, so you don't end up worrying that you are making them angry or confused or upset. The next time someone makes an illogical argument or just uses their feelings as an excuse to do something, see if you can reason out the logic behind what they are saying, or ask them to clarify what they think their logic is, and judge whether you believe it to be rational or irrational. Examine a puzzle or brain teaser or strategy game to see if you can figure out the underlying process and logic behind the game. For example, why can you always complete a Sudoku with only one solution? TI may seem cold and selfish to you at first, because you are used to being focused on other people, so using something that is both logical and personal to you will take time to adjust. But try to recognise how it can help you in life, to ensure that you never end up feeling burnt out or taken advantage of because you are too focused on others and nobody is there to look after you. Moving on to ISFPs and INFPs. Their strongest mental process is FI, so TE is more challenging to them. FI dominants can have a tendency to see thinking functions, especially TE, as harsh and insensitive, forgetting to think about what other people want as well. But TE can be really helpful to ISFPs and INFPs to help them to get things done. Sometimes FI dominants can spend too long making sure that everyone else is able to voice their opinion that they aren't able to actually make a start. Yes, TE does sometimes negate people's feelings, but there are many situations where you can't spend ages worrying about what people want. You have to do something now, and TE gives you the push to do that. Maybe it will cause a small amount of pain now, but in the long run, it will have been the best decision you could have made. Here are a few weaknesses due to not using the TE as much. ISFPs and INFPs are regularly exploring their values, desires, and ethics, but they can struggle to put these values into a tangible plan of action. Achieving goals, structuring their time, and focusing on objective logic instead of subjective morals can be exhausting. They may struggle with confidence when it comes to pursuing their goals. Plus, TE doesn't like to be ignored, so when they get stressed, their TE will often take charge and push them to do something, anything, in the situation, whether it's the right course of action or not. TE needs to be utilised properly to ensure that the only logical decisions are chosen, rather than anything that just keeps them busy. Talking to a TJ type, so an ESTJ, ENTJ, ISTJ or INTJ, can help you to see the strengths of TE and how it is used, as it is their first or second functions. Here are a few tips on how to improve TE. Have a conversation with someone who doesn't support a conclusion or cause that you do. Listen without taking anything personally. Pause and consider their answers. Can you disprove them logically? Are they logically sound? Are there any inconsistencies in the logic that you can point out? Are there any inconsistencies in your own logic? Try this with someone who won't be easily offended. The most helpful type will probably be a TJ type. Think about the parts of your day that are inefficient. Pick one priority to focus on that would make a big difference to you. Look for the most efficient way you could streamline that part of your day and try to follow this daily. Is it more efficient for you to wash each plate as you use it, or wash them all up at the end of the day while watching a TV program? Figure out what works best with your lifestyle. Practice doing if-then exercises to predict the outcomes of various actions. For example, if I prepare my lunch the night before, I won't be rushed in the morning and end up buying something expensive to eat while I'm at work because I didn't have time to make it. Think of an area in your home or vehicle that you could reorganize. Think of how you could maximize the space in that area and logically determine the best way to organize it based on how often you use certain things. Using TE will take some time to get used to because it is focused on getting things done quickly and efficiently, but with practice you can use this ability to start working on your goals and helping everything in your life to run more efficiently and smoothly. It can help you to do things that match up with your values, like fighting for a cause you believe in. And with TE, you will be able to use that logic to win people over, and also be able to organise them into being more productive about achieving the goals of the cause that you have. Thank you for your time.